Today is August 4th. I think it's really awesome to see people's gardens, the good and bad, especially at this time of the season. Plants are really heavily loaded. The first plant in this row, 1400 211 214, belongs to Steve Whiteacre. It's about 3.5 feet tall. Really nice size beefsteaks. Can't wait to have a ripe one. The next fruit is also Steve Whiteacre's, and it is Bottle Rocket. Dixie Belle is next. Definitely some disease. $2,200 1224. A lot of fruits. Rather tall plant. These next two are much smaller. $2,200 1224. Potato leaves. Got one starting to ripen. We have ones with stripes and some with specking on their fruit. This is the same plant. Lots of flowers. 1900 1A 1107. It's going to be kind of hard for me to show the whole plants at this point because they're so large. Same variant or same plant, different variant. 1900 1A 1107. Tons and tons of fruits. This variety is called Robin Hood. It's well over 7 foot tall. Fruits. Its neighbor that needs tied up is the same. This one as well. This was supposed to be Jackie. However, Jackie must have been outcrossed in Steve's garden, as we now have striped versions, which are quite beautiful. $1,232 $522. Beautiful fruits. Its neighbor is the same. This one as well, a much smaller plant. This will be a cull. 1200 26-1 HRT6. This plant is a very late variety, potato leaf, and it likes heat more than it does cool weather. Sweet Susie. Really loaded on fruits everywhere. $2,200 1224. $1,200 736 212. Cannonball. This one has been interesting all season. This back corner does get more water, but all of the leaves are quite neon, not necessarily chartreuse, but also the flowers are very, very light colored. I'm trying to get it to focus here. There we go. So super interesting. 1400 211 2214. It's the back of the garden. Much smaller. it is going to be a cull. It's not as productive as its neighbors. The next neighbor, still more compact plant. And another one. This one, I will have to refer to my garden map when I look back at this video, as my tag is broken off. 1200 736 212. Have a really nice orange fruit, or red. Dora. Venus. Very cool pointed fruits. Uncle Owen. Not super productive, but that's its neighbor. It is, has some fruits on. Really kind of spreading. This one's a really nice size. 1901A 110-7. Also belongs to Steve. This is a very compact plant. Lots of fruits on. 1210B 111B. This is a smaller plant, so I will probably cull this one. It also is struggling a little more with disease, late blight. This is the same plant, but A. And as you can see, production is much, much heavier and much less disease. So that's how we're gonna select for these. Chianti di Hut. Really nice fruits, an old Russian variety. It isn't struggling the worst with disease, but it does have some. This is a regrow. Seeds were getting old. Opolka. It's a nice sauce variety. Exotic fruit. Another old Russian variety, and it is quite productive. Bella. I have one of these ripening inside, and I think the fruits may be on the other side. Seek No Further Love apple. This variety came from Gary Fitzgerald at Tomato Junction, and my fruits are amazingly huge. I am very excited to try this one. Jumbo Purple Market belongs to Bill Jeffers. Again, really, really beautiful fruits. We've had 4 or 5 now. The plant's lovely. It does have a little bit of late blight. Honey Giant, another old Russian variety. I'm not seeing too much in the way of fruit set, and I'm actually seeing quite a bit disease on this, so this is probably best for northern grower. Red of Ghent, an older variety, definitely having some blight. This is a Tom Wagner variety that I have selected now a couple years, and it has furry potato leaves on Indeterminate. And the fruit has some light striping. Oddly enough, this plant doesn't deal with horrible blight. I thought it might because of the fuzzy foliage. This next variety is Cupid's Arrow. It is insane. Beautiful potato leaves. If I pull this back, you can start to see just the sheer number of fruit around this plant. Really impressive. This needs tied up, although I'm running out of tying room. I mean, this is pretty incredible. It doesn't mind the heat. It's not horrible with disease. This variety is called Roxanne. I'm working on stabilizing it. It's small beefsteaks. I can't really reach in and show any of them very easily. I'm calling this one Heaven's Hills because another friend is growing the same variety and we don't want things mixed. Right now, this has been the worst tasting fruit. It doesn't have horrible taste, it just doesn't really have much taste. And but it's been pretty productive. NCT 17, I'm sorry, NCT 13. It belongs to Bill Jeffers. The plant is about 4 feet tall, but it is quite impressive. It seems like it might be semi-determinate based on the way it's setting and ripening fruits as it continues along the way up. This plant is 1232.522, belongs to Steve Whiteacre, and I don't know that I can really do justice to this. Very little disease, beautiful trussing, beautiful fruits. And if I follow this up, this entire plant is that same variety. It's pretty impressive. Lime in the Coconut belongs to Ongwe Eas. We are dealing with blight, but it is producing massive amounts of fruit. Really excited to try some of these more ripe. And of course, the gorgeous, gorgeous potato leaves. This is Prudence Red. It's staying a fairly compact plant. It might be being choked out a little bit by its neighbors. Needs tied up. We haven't gotten to try this one yet. Mrs. Bacon's Sport seems to not be a sport, but instead an outcross. Red fruits. The plant's vigor is insane, which isn't unheard of for a hybrid F1. I mean, just tons and tons of fruit set. This is an F1 Big Beef Plus. It has not ripened anything yet for me to try it. Hanky Red is a cute little dwarf plant that is ripening a bunch of fruits all at once. Native Sun belongs to Steve Whiteacre, and it is the most delicious fruit I've tried so far this season. Love it. Miss Scarlet in the Kitchen with a Knife. Been working on improved setting with these varieties. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It looks like we have about 25 fruits on in total of the plant, and the disease is not bad. It's definitely still wispy, but very excited as it's a great fruit. 1400 11711 XX 181 Steve Whiteacres. Not seeing a lot of fruit set. I do see some flowers up here towards the top, and there may be some on, oh, there is a few here on the other side. We've been having some uneven raining, so we've got some splitting going on. Peacekeeper, a selection made off of Blaine Horton variety. Very, very productive. Very nice fruits. Very little disease showing at the bottom of the plant. Green Gables, a Jason Haynes variety. Lots of fruits, all tucked away inside. Beautiful potato leaves. Gateway 13. This is the best, no, this is not the best plant. It is one of the better plants, but this one does have some really nice fruit set and very little disease, if any at all. I am not going to butcher this. It belongs to Ongwe Eas. And not crazy overly productive. Also beautiful potato leaves. This is the other Gateway 13 plant. It is quite a bit larger. It has quite a lot more fruit set all the way up and down the plant. And again, there's minimal to no disease. The fruits on this are also larger than the other plant. And so as long as flavor is the same, this is the one I would select. Oh, we have a dropped one here. It looks like this. Really pretty. This is a chartreuse variant of Gateway 13. I found two when starting seedlings. This plant is the least productive and the wimpiest. Yellow Cannonball. It's a fun plant. Its flowers are not bright white colored or cream colored like the other one. It's definitely interesting. Gateway 13C2. Second plant. This one is at the back of the garden, yet more productive than C1. It does look like it's struggling and needs some vitamins a little bit. So that's a mess. Mrs. Wilson's Heart. I got these seeds from Kim Lund. They are definitely a pointed shape. Maybe they will get a bit wider as they grow. This is one of my plants named after my daughter. This and most of this row is. I'm probably going to come out here next week and cull out some of these plants that are just not producing as good as others. Some of them are struggling with some heat set. All of them are potato leaf of this variant. White Lightning. This produced much heavier in the high sun area of my garden last year versus how it's producing this year. However, fruits still look great. It has a nice, great texture. Big beefsteaks, mid to late season. This is a second Big Beef Plus plant. I believe that when I bought seeds from Johnny's, that this is some other seed mixed in. Plant's really kind of puny. Fruit set's not great. Magnum Bonum. A very, very old variety, but has a really nice amount of fruit, and for its being an early 1900s plant, has very little disease, which is shocking. These seeds came from Remy Rotella to Ted Maiden giant red pear, Gran Sasso strain. Seeds were very, very old. I am happy to report we have ripe fruit. Beautiful paste style tomatoes. This is Red Tula, a stable outcross of Black from Tula. The fruits should be red and smaller in size, kind of like this guy. I haven't had a ripe one yet. Animas en la Agua also belongs to Onwe Ias. Really fun fruit sets. Very excited. Gorgeous, gorgeous potato leaves. Noctili, I have taken one harvest of this. The flavor was very nice. The texture was not my favorite. These are pink. And I'm hoping that the second set of fruits that come in will have a better texture due to the weather from when they were setting. Mr. Green Jeans belongs to Mr. Bill Jeffers. A small amount of blight going on. Some nice fruits. Also, beautiful potato leaves. Little Miss Dixie Sunshine. This is an off type that I grew in 2024, I think, possibly last year. Small little beefsteaks that are yellow. This fruit was supposed to be a really very old variety from my area, but unfortunately the seed I received was mixed up, so I'm going to replace that and regrow it next year. Elbonian Mudball F7. Again, this should have been at F7, and unfortunately these fruits were bee crossed in the garden before mine. So I'm just going to save seeds for these and move on from next year. Another one of my plants for my daughter. You can see the beautiful beefsteaks, and you can see kind of in comparison that this plant looks much healthier than the last one we saw. Same with this guy. That one does have a little more disease going on. This is my preferred selection. Very productive, squatty plants, nearing full growth. There is some disease going on in there. These are all the same sets of plants, so we're looking for the healthiest and the most productive, along with the best flavor. Looks like we've got a worm around somewhere, but you can kind of see the fruits for these. The second plant, I believe, of the set is the healthiest. Has the least amount of disease. It actually has the largest potato leaves. Can't wait to have one of those ripe again. They're delicious. When I went to grow the seeds for those this year, I realized I had an outcross from bees. So I chose to grow it. The plant definitely has F1 vigor. It does struggle with blight. So you can kind of see here. I stopped treating and spraying with organic items in the end of July. So what happens after this is to let me know what plants are doing. This is Barchetta. Belongs to Russ Crowe. It is delicious. I think there's some ripe ones on the other side. This is bacon, lettuce, and this. Also a Tomato Junction Gary Fitzgerald variety. I have been growing this for a few years now in order to try and improve its fruit set. It definitely struggles with disease. It was my first one to have me notice that that I need to start spraying this year. Tomboy, a very old variety that was released for production. The fruits are quite amazing. This is Farandola. A friend brought these back from Italy a couple years ago. These are ripe. Casino. Fruits that look as they should. Not the biggest plant or the most productive, but expected for a paste. This is a cross that I'm completing for Ted Maiden. The fruits are pretty gorgeous. Beautiful striping. It does have some disease. Beautiful. Burgermeister belongs to Bill Jeffers. Lovely little fruits. Medusa F6, same thing happened with this. The person that grew before me had a bee outcross, so I'm gonna have to go backwards next year for seed. Oh, fun. Praying mantis sac. I again don't know how to pronounce this guy. The production on this though is insane. I haven't gotten a ripe fruit yet. The fruits are of nice size, small slicers, medium slicers. Excited to try that. Ziggy belongs to Steve Whiteacre, and it has elongated fruit with striping. Queen Aliquippa Black. This is a variant that belongs to Ongwe Ias. Beautiful, beautiful potato leaves. Don't have anything ripening yet, but they're starting. Two survivors. This plant belongs to Casey Pesquera and Wild Mountain Seeds. It is dealing with some blight, but the fruits are really nice. Turtle Heart F4, also an Ongwe Ias variety. Beautiful leaves, potato leaves. And these do split when it rains, so they're thin-skinned, but the flavor is lovely. This is an F1 hybrid called Woodstock. It hasn't necessarily been overly productive for me. It has okay production, but it's definitely, I kind of expected more from a hybrid. Lone Star Stakeout. This is the potato leaf variant of Tex Wine that belongs to Bill Jeffers. There's quite a lot of fruits down the center of this guy. It's just hard to show them. Hooked On, also a Bill Jeffers variety. The plant got broken during a storm. The bottom part of it lasted, so I'm letting it go. I was able to get 2 ripe fruits off, and there's another one to get some seed from it, but I'm hoping that it'll make a comeback. Horton's Purple. This is a selection by Blaine Horton, not one of his crosses. And lots of fruit. It definitely likes the heat. Potato leaves, gorgeous. Casino chips, the sport found off of Casino. It, again, not overly productive, has cute little sets all over. This was a Wild Time variety that I had that was off type. It didn't match the one I was supposed to have. It's doing all right. It's at the back of the garden, so it's going to be a little later for us. Beans and cucumbers. This is one of the stick regular leaf variants that I have been messing with this year. This whole plant needs to be tied up. But for sitting in a ball piled up, nobody taking care of it, it's doing really well. These are my stick project that I'm working on with Russ Crowe. They're about 6.5 feet, 7 foot tall, some of them. Others are quite shorter. These have struggled with the weather that we've had here this year, but we definitely have fruits on. They're just looking like beautiful little hearts. Have to see what comes of those. Make some more selections this year. Same thing here. All of these variants are different, but they are all showing hearts, and this one's showing some beautiful striping. Okay, this is Red Riot by Bill Jeffers. This plant is insanely productive. The plant is huge. The issue with disease is very minimal. Mussolini F7 belongs to Blaine Horton. This plant and I have been fighting to keep it up off the ground. It has quite a lot of fruits tucked in and around. They're just very hard to show. This is Lemontini F4. It belongs to Bill Jeffers. I know Carol Galbiati is growing, I think, the finished version of this possibly. For me, disease is a big, big problem, even with spraying. The fruits are really cool, but the first set of fruits did have blossom end rot, so I'm not sure that this is the selection that I would make to continue this along, but it's been really fun growing it. Macmillan Rose is a really fun plant, very, very old. I'm excited to try one. Smith's Southern Giant. This came out of Ted Maiden's collection, and I have not been able to find a history, but I would say giant is an accurate description. Holy moly. That's as big as my entire hand. Grandpa White's Red. I pushed this over to the other side of the fence. Not very productive, and some issue with blight. So we'll see what comes from this. Maybe the fruits will be fantastic and make it worthwhile. Ruby Ore. This variety came from Mike Williams, and I am impatiently waiting, seeing disease, which is not unexpected with this old of a variety. I would say production is average. These next four are all part of Owen and I's Harry Potter series. Plants on this guy. The furry version is much taller. Haven't got a ripe off it yet. The second plant is a multiflora, and I have been taking in fruits and making selections from some of those. And this one, it looks like it's going to be a dwarf, or maybe a mini dwarf, but it is also multiflora. Not too much problem with disease, keeps setting fruit. To continue on, this is also from that Harry Potter cross. I expect to see some disease issues because it's a basket variety sitting along the ground. It is a multiflora, and it is setting a large percentage of those blossoms. I wasn't sure if it would or not. Down here is a typical size of the fruit, really nice. This is another sibling from that line. Lots of fruit hiding up underneath. Another sibling right next door. This one has some pretty striped fruits. Another sibling to that line, hasn't ripened yet. This variety is Miss Major. It belongs to Angway-Ias. Some small amount with disease, but not bad. We definitely have some odd things happening during fruit set with heat here. Prince Charming's Bastard. Not struggling too much with disease. I've got a branch broken over here. Really producing nicely. These have a nice mellow taste. This is a Harry Potter child that turned out to be indeterminate. So it really shouldn't be here. It doesn't have proper support. But the fruits are a nice deep chocolate color. Very, very productive. Really excited about this one. It may stay at about, it may end up being compact indeterminate. Coastal Pride Orange is the variety right here. That belongs to, that's a selection that belongs to Angway-Ias. Originally Dan McMurray, I believe, and across from Tom Wagner. This is another one of the Harry Potter children. We have not had a ripe one yet. It is a hairy variant, and it is dwarf in height. It has some disease. It's got okay production. I'll really have to see how the fruits are. This is another Harry Potter child. Definitely heavier with disease. Some really cool striping on the fruits there. Really neon orange underneath. Porter's Early Brook Pact. This does set a nice amount of fruit, and it is ripening now. This is definitely for somebody in northern climates. I mean, I am in the north, but somebody higher north than me. Blue-eyed Torp. This was project material that the Dwarf Tomato Project used in some of their crosses for genetics. Not great on disease. Is pretty productive, and the fruit shaping is nice. This is Tuckwood's Favorite. Also was a late stick into the garden. It's an indeterminate. Shouldn't be in this row, but it is. We do see cracking in both directions with rain, so thin skin needs to be picked when blush. Otherwise, decent production, nice size fruit. This is Cherokee Short Steak. I'm gonna be honest, the fruits for this tasted nice and looked as they should have. However, the disease this plant deals with is unacceptable to me. There are other varieties. This may be great for someone in the north who can't always get great production on indeterminate plants. And this variety is called Highlander. And it has just kind of collapsed off its pole and gone on its own way, and it still looks very, very healthy even compared to its neighbor when piled up down here. So this is my selection of Russ Crow's varieties. It didn't make it the first time into the garden, and then I replanted, so these are quite a bit further behind. I avoid going through all the peppers each time because I have to get up and down to read tags. But overall, just to show some fruits and plants, everything's looking really, really grand. Need to do some more tying up so that these don't break, like that one. But otherwise, few complaints. The last thing in this back bed is more of the Harry Potter children. Definitely a multiflora, high set. Underneath here is another that just keeps falling. We've been culling hard on these for any various reasons to try and find the best ones among the bunch. This one's pretty cool, neon orange with green stripes. And this guy really took off late. I thought it wasn't going to really survive and do much, but now it is putting off a crazy number of blooms. So that is the garden overall. Try and give kind of an overview of everything so we can see the state of it. My cattle panels are just a tad bit taller than I am, and I'm 5'7", 5'8". So most of these are 7 to 8 foot tall at this point. Well, it was fun to do an update. This guy's pretty crazy with all its blooms.